Hi, I'm Ailbhe McDonagh and I'm here today to talk to you about basic setup at the instrument. So if you've never played the cello before, this is a great video for you. Here I am sitting in a good cello position, and if you look at the 3 points of connection that I have to the instrument, we have one where it's resting here against my chest, just slightly over to the left side of your body, obviously because the neck of the cello needs to be very close to your neck, but it can't be totally straight or you'd be a little bit sideways. And then you can see I have a contact point here in my right knee and also in my left knee. So where I have that attaching is a good contact point. If you find that your cello is up a little too high like this, see the way it's way too close to your head, or if these themselves are way past that point in the knee that I had originally, then you know you're not exactly in the right setup. So we'll break it down from the very start. At the very beginning, you have to choose the correct chair. So usually I would suggest a chair with no arms that has 4 legs, because that's great when you have a spike holder that attaches to a chair leg. It's okay if you have a rock stop, the circular one, then it doesn't matter which type of chair you have, whether it has legs or a stand. A piano stool is always a very good option. Ideally, you want to have a seat that is either completely straight across, so not one with grooves in it because that affects how we sit, or you can have one, some of the fancier cello chairs are slightly tilting downwards. They're quite good because it gets your pelvis into the right position without having any effort on your own. So here you can see that I'm improvising a little bit. So I am somewhere where I don't have my usual cello chair. And so here I have something sort of like a little perch. And I'm sitting down with this, and you can see that my knees are slightly lower than my pelvis. So you always want to have a chair that has your pelvis either at the correct height for your knees, or even better, the way I have it, where my knees are tilting down. That's why the cello chairs are tilted like that already, so that you'll be in the right position. So I'm just going to put my cello down for a second. And when you have a look at how I am sitting, I have, as we said, the pelvis slightly higher than my knees. And immediately I can stand up as if I'm running a race. So you can see that my weight is sort of tilting forward, almost like I'm at the start of the Olympics. And when I'm tilting forward, that means I can immediately stand up. So if your feet are too far forward and you try to stand up, you just physically can't do it. And that shows that our weight balance, our center of gravity, is not in the right place for playing the cello. So back a little bit here like this. I can stand up again, so I'm in the right place. And my weight is slightly forward. So if my back is like this, I can't stand up either. So this is how we find this position. Now, to be very specific about it, your pelvis has an ability to rotate backwards and forwards. So it's one of those unusual bones. So when I rotate backwards like this and have a very bent back, then there's a lot of pressure on my lower back. So it's not a great position to be sitting and trying to get gravity onto the front of the cello. So what you do is you roll on your sit bones. So your sit bones are the 2 bones that you're sitting on. They take all the weight of your upper back. So as I roll forward with my pelvis, I roll, 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 roll. There's a moment where suddenly I feel quite weightless in the rest of my body, that the sit bones are taking all of the weight of my upper body. If I go forward, so I'm rolling forward here, I kind of feel like, woof, I'm going to fall forward too much, and then we've gone too far. So just have a little roll about there and see where you feel weightless in your upper body, and that's the correct position, okay? Finally, just with our feet, sometimes people start the cello with their feet wide like this, like a penguin, and I always say no penguins allowed at the cello playing, because after 20 years of playing with your knees like that, you'll actually get sort of knee problems. So you want to keep your feet really forward, just nice and easily, where there's no pressure anywhere on your body. Okay? So then when I pick up the cello, of course, we've got the spike or end pin here. So how How long you need the spike out depends on how tall you are as a person and what type of chair you're using. So often you might have to improvise. Like if I put on a pair of high-heeled shoes, suddenly my knees go a little bit higher, so I need a higher chair. So often I experiment with cushions, or sometimes I'll roll up a coat and put it on the chair so that I'm actually high enough for what I need. So similarly with this spike, this changes a lot. So for me, I like to have a spike that is forward enough and high enough that this little peg here sits behind my neck. So often you'll find people starting the cello like this because they're trying to avoid that peg getting in the way. And of course, have a look at that position. That doesn't lead itself to gravity, to be allowing the body work naturally. So I really want that neck as close to my neck as possible. The further forward I go with the spike, like this, then the flatter the cello becomes. So I can keep putting my spike out and out and out and out, and then it becomes even more flat as we're going along. So people have different versions of how flat or how vertical they like the cello to be. And for me, a nice balance where that peg is just tickling the back of my neck, or where sometimes you can have a little snooze if you need one. And now I feel like I'm in the perfect position. It means when I put my left hand on the cello, the weight is coming directly down and not from the side. And when I put my bow on the string, then we have the same ability to just come down with our weight. There are many different techniques playing the cello. So some people do like to have a shorter spike when the cello is more vertical. And that would mean that you need to put the spike a little bit closer to your body. So rather than pushing it further out, so they prefer a more vertical cello. And that's just a slightly different feel. For me, it's not as relaxed as having a longer spike that is more forward. Because here, my neck is free and I can really open up. I feel that is a better position for me when I'm playing the cello. So the final thing to think about is just the triangle on the floor. So we already talked about where this position goes. Okay, so for me, that goes just about here. So it's almost in the middle of my rib cage. So when I'm putting that there, I should be able to move to the left and to the right with no weight. So we're never holding the cello. The 3 points between our knee, and this point here just to the left of your rib cage when you're looking at the cello. That means here I have complete control and then my hands are free to do whatever they want. Similarly, there is a triangle on the floor. So between my foot, the spike, and my other foot, you can see here that it is pretty much just a triangle between those 3 points. So when you're looking to start, some people put the spike over to one side or the other side too much, and that generally affects our weight balance towards the end. So you want to have it as much that you can just be over and sinking into the cello and enjoying the sound. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them below.